I think, like there are things that are the same and there are things that are different. So the things that we knew, I guess, at the point of inception of the partnership was that we wanted to architect an operating model that essentially drove, yes, all the obvious things, efficiency, value for money, all the things you'd expect. We also wanted to build in some scalability, given one of our stated public domain goals is to be top 10 by scale. So we knew we'd need to rescale. So any operating model needed to make accommodation for that. But also one of our key goals as a housing association was to be more present in our communities. So the challenge, I think, that we see in larger operations is sometimes, not always, sort of losing touch with the customer at the local level. So the idea of ensuring the op model allowed us to be big, but also local was always the key. And, let me explain a bit of how we think that potentially works. So what are the benefits of going for a highly centralized model? The kind of hub and spoke design, I guess, would be what we're talking about here. Is you gain a huge amount of consistency, efficiency that we've already talked about, that sort of sense of central control if you have that hub. But what we also wanted to make sure there was sufficient emphasis on was the regional, the spokes bit of the model, the regional element of the picture. So colleagues who within very clearly defined operating procedures are able to make good devolved local decisions, the right level of support from the centre. So all of that is kind of, I guess, process and structure. There's also a strong geographical element to this. So we knew in advance we didn't want to have a kind of head office style operation, despite what I've just said about centralisation and hub and spoke. So very quickly, again, accelerated by the pandemic, we've been able to think about what real estate we have, where we want our colleagues to be, how that links to where our highest areas of stock density are. And that's created quite a different picture with, instead of, two very substantial, inverted commas, head office type sites, now what we're encouraging colleagues to view is a range of touchdown spaces in a directory, which we hold centrally. That encourages colleagues to be out in our communities, using different sites we do own, using some we don't. But ultimately, the goal is, I say, twofold, really, to create a much more efficient operating model from a commercial point of view, but also just to get those colleagues out into the communities we serve and work differently with our customers.